We are going to share the current relationship between the two sides of Taiwan Strait. So that's what we say, cross-strait relationships. But before I do that, we really need to pay maybe 10 seconds respect to a seemingly unrelated, irrelevant figure in the academic world, Stephen Hawking. Passed away this year at age 76. His study helped us to understand the great universe that is 13.7 billion years away, right from the Big Bang. Because of him, and other physicists, we know our universe. The universe is so big. But to bring it closer to ourselves, we are in this small earth, which is so small that in some people's eyes, especially those who believe in Buddhism, they say nothing is important at all because we are so small. However, how do you define small or big? The earth can be small if compared to the whole universe, but it is at the same time very big. It is so big that we have all kinds of problems, conflicts, as we sit here right now, right? North Korean issue, South China Sea issue, issues internationally, regionally, and domestically. Every country has issues to solve, problems to face. So we are not going to talk about all those issues tonight. We're going to talk about the relationship between Taiwan and China. How many of you in your life this far have paid attention to that part of the world? Honestly, show your hand. How many of you? Oh, many of you have paid attention to that part of the world. Okay, not just Thailand, where you go for summer vacations, right? Cross-strait relationship. Well, that means namely the relationship between peoples, Republic of China, PRC, and if I may now, some people may not agree, but please, bear with me. Officially, in my country, we call ourselves Republic of China. It is more commonly known in the world as Taiwan. Brief introduction of political relations between Taiwan and mainland China. Now, historically, when we say the history of China, we say 5,000 years of Chinese history, or at least 3,000 years of recorded Chinese history. My ancestors came from China 400 years ago, and I'm also proud of that part of the cultural influence on me. Don't get me wrong, that part of influence on most Taiwanese is very important. Okay, in history, the Chinese dynasties, the Chinese imperial dynasties never really paid a lot of attention to the island of Taiwan, although Taiwan had been in existence for millions and millions of years, sitting there right next to the southeast of the great mass of the China mainland. But the Chinese dynasties never did pay a lot of attention to it until almost Ming Dynasty. Okay, now in the 16th century and 17th century, the Western sailors, merchants, Portuguese, Dutch, and Spanish, when they sailed through that part of the Pacific Ocean, they look at Taiwan from the Pacific Ocean side, not from the Taiwan Strait side. And it's winter time. And they saw the snow-capped highest mountain of Taiwan, Jade Mountain. And one Portuguese captain exclaimed, said, Ilha Formosa island, beautiful. What a beautiful island. That's why Westerns know Taiwan as Formosa. Okay? But it is not until this years, the Dutch people started to occupy Taiwan for almost 40 years through the Netherlands, Dutch East Indies Company. They were doing trade with Japan, based in now Indonesia, but the city, Jakarta, at that time was called Pattaya. From Pattaya, they sent merchants to Japan, Imperial Japan, and they used Taiwan as one of their base, okay, for almost 30-some years until they were, well, in Chinese words, we want to say, chased away or defeated by a Ming Dynasty general by the name of Zheng, Chen Gongzheng. But his last name is Cheng. But since he helped get Taiwan back to the Chinese, dynasty, then the emperor at that time, with last name Chu, gave him the emperor's last name. So this is called the lord that carries the emperor's last name, Koxinga. The country last name is lord. That's what the word Koxinga means. Okay, so Koxinga chased away the last governor of the Dutch East Indies Company. Now that governor, if maybe some of you already know, happened to have been a Swedish citizen by the name of Frederick Koyat. Frederick Koyat. When Frederick Koyat was fighting Koxinga, he fought in such a dignified, a courageous fashion that General Koxinga respected him so much that when he received Mr. Koyat's surrender on behalf of the East Indies Company, he respected him so much, he said, he invited him to use his fleet to go back to Pattaya. That's how, enemies are respected if you really fight courageously, with dignity. And years after, we built a shrine in honor of Koxinga in Thailand, and we also built a half, bust statue of Koyat. And when it was inaugurated, we invited the offsprings of Mr. Koyat to Thailand to join in the inauguration ceremony. That's how we have this relationship between Frederick Koyat and Taiwan. In the year 2016, there was another election. 4 years passed, 8 years passed. Now the people of Taiwan were not satisfied with the Nationalist Party, But it is also true with democracy, right? Every 8 years, people get tired of no matter how good a government is in the world. So they say democracy is the best system, but maybe not the perfect system. That's why people want change. Okay, people want to give other people an opportunity to, try to do something in Taiwan. So they chose the DPP again. And now we have the first female president in Asia. Okay, President Tsai Ing-wen. Like her or not, she became the first female president. Okay, but then she did not acknowledge the agreement between Taiwan and China, namely the 1992 consensus of interpreting China by itself. Yours, People's Republic of China. Mine, Republic of China. But we won't say it. We won't put it down in writing. We just recognize that. But President Tsai Ing-wen's party did not want to acknowledge that. So there was a problem. Mainland China, now under leadership of Xi Jinping, says, no, you must recognize that. That's the base. If you don't do that, no more deals between Taiwan and China. So that's why almost all contacts between China and Taiwan stopped in the month of May when President Tsai inaugurated. Okay, the participations in WHA, in that year, 2016, we were still able to participate as observer, but by the next year, 2017, no more. ICAO no more invited Taiwan. Nobody, no UN agencies invite Taiwan anymore. Okay, and all these agencies agreed to invite Taiwan based on China's agreeing. If China doesn't agree, Taiwan doesn't get to go to any of these international organizations. So that's the biggest part of now China's policy to try to get the president of Taiwan back to the 1992 consensus. Okay, now there are other bad things for Taiwan happening. That means not so much tourists now go to Taiwan anymore. Okay, China directly or indirectly decreased the number of tourists to Taiwan. They would not say you cannot go to Taiwan to their people, but then the big cities, they have application forms for their people to visit Taiwan. If you want to visit Taiwan by yourself and not with a group, you have to apply. So the governments of China, big cities, now tell their people, we run out of applications. Whenever you want to apply to visit Taiwan as a tourist, sorry, no more applications. Although they have millions of application forms, they will tell you, sorry, no more applications. So much less tourists go to Taiwan now. And then they are not buying Taiwan's agricultural products anymore. They're not buying Taiwan's fishery anymore. January 4th of this year, China unilaterally decided to fly their, civil flights, civilian flights from north up south along their side of the Taiwan Strait. And that was problematic. It's troublesome. Why? If we sit here, we don't know how many flights are flying. But if you look at the chart, you can tell that hundreds and hundreds of airplanes were flying along that line. Okay? But in 2015, both sides agreed that the Chinese airplanes, civilian flights, can fly from north to south. Nothing was agreed for them to fly from south to north. Now they decide unilaterally to do it without discussing with Taiwan. Okay, and that may cause serious problems if airplane crashes took place without flight safety information. We know that President Xi Jinping of mainland China has just been given the opportunity to be almost unlimited president of China. Okay, he is not the first. Vladimir Putin in Russia has been doing that. Okay, maybe changing title, but holding on to power. So people in the world have concerns. Okay, we don't know whether it's going to be all good or not so good or all bad, but it's up to China. In Shelley Rieger's book, American International Affairs Expert, Why Taiwan Matters, that's what her book title was. She says, if you go to Taiwan, you travel on the freeway, Zhongshan Freeway, north to south, within 75 kilometers distance, there are important international IT companies that if they stop operating for 1 day or 1 hour, the information industry in USA, Microsoft, Intel, would be affected. The world would be affected. Okay? So that's how important that 75 kilometer IT zone of China is to the world. Okay? In terms of health, we are about number 3 best health system in the world, next to USA and Germany. Arguably, because here in Sweden, we have very good health system also. And your good health system protect your medical resources, doctors and nurses and medical resources. Our system protect patients. Even if you sniff, you can ask to see a doctor in 5 minutes. If it doesn't happen, you can yell and shout, and scold the hospitals. But here, nothing like that would happen. If you have cold, stay home, drink a lot of water. If you are in emergency room, they'll come check if you are serious enough. You're not serious enough. That one is dying, so go ahead. You may wait 8 hours, 9 hours, right, without seeing a doctor. But that's the good thing of your system, because you really protect your medical resources. In our system, because we indulge patients, so patients abuse the medical insurance system. If you allow your people to do things too easily, they become to abuse the system. But in general, we have one of the best insurance health systems in the world. Okay, now quality of life wise, Sweden has always ranked top, but so far away in the Pacific Ocean, thousands of miles away, we have very good quality of life that we would like to invite all of you to go and check it out. Okay, yeah. Here, you can read faster than I. Okay, number 33 may not sound so big deal, but for Taiwan, a non-UN member of 23 million people only, without much diplomatic allies, can rank 33 in the world is something. Okay, for Taiwan to be number 32 in the latest index, right? Is already something. Okay? Taiwan's bakers win not once but twice in Paris. World's top bakers competition. You say, Taiwanese bakers, why not French bakers? Why not British bakers? Why not Swedish bakers? Makers of bread. Taiwanese. Not once but twice. Okay? Why would Taiwanese young teams win the world online gaming competition? Team from Taiwan beat Japanese team, beat British team. Why? Well, it doesn't take overnight to happen, right? It takes a lot of efforts. It takes the whole village to happen. Freedom of speech. You see this? They rank Taiwan very high in the level of freedom of speech. Okay, so we ourselves didn't claim so. It is by Reporters Without Borders. You have Doctors Without Borders. You have Reporters Without Borders. And they say Taiwan's freedom of speech is high in the ranking internationally. Okay. This is why Taiwan matters the most. Taiwan sits at a very important strategic point, guarding not only Taiwan Strait, okay, but also connecting to Indian Ocean and South China Sea area. When all the Western vessels have to travel with their goods to North USA, including Swedish vessels, you want to travel here. You don't want to travel outside of Taiwan, which is very rough. You may lose all your goods. The Pacific Ocean, the word Pacific may sound peaceful. It's not peaceful at all. It's very rough. Okay, so you don't want to sail here. You want to sail here. And the world fears that if China has full control of this area, then everybody would suffer. You don't know. It's all unpredictable. It is all so very unpredictable. Okay, that anything can happen. And if not so good things happen to the Western vessels, you lose money. Okay, not to say people's life.